What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining me in episode 2 of Drake's Takes, where I'm going to talk about whatever I feel like, and we're going to keep it simple. So that's the idea for this pod show thing. I don't really want to call it a podcast, as I said in my update video, but here we are with some weekly fight picks, or not weekly, but whenever there's an event. So, let's just get into it, because that's what this episode's about. Another episode might not be about this. Probably won't, unless there's an event. So yeah, we'll see. And, my first week here in China, and this next UFC event is in China, Shenzhen. How perfect is that? What are the odds? And there they are, what they are. Now, if we just jump right to it, now I will admit, shamefully, that this card, while it does have some fantastic fights, there's a lot of people that I actually haven't heard of, which is very, I feel stupid saying that, but they really did a good job of getting a lot of Asian fighters and, local Chinese fighters, which still a lot of people don't know about, aside from a few people like, Weili Zhang, who's in the main event, Yan Jiaonan, Song Yudong. Those are like the three big ones. The one championship champion at flyweight, Zhang Jingnan, the panda. Those are like the big four off the top of my head that I could think of, anyways. But yeah, they did a really good job filling this card with local people and Asian names. Not many that, the American audience or anyone outside of Asia might know, unless they're super hardcore. And, I like to think I'm hardcore as well. But yeah, a lot of guys here. So if we're just going to go through my picks, I don't, these are just guesses, these ones here. So like Weili Zhang versus, I'm not even going to try to do these names actually. But yeah, so let's go. We got Anthony Hernandez here, who is a recognizable face, a former LFA champion, I believe. That he was obviously an LFA, was on Dana White's Contender Series, knocked out that one guy who people were making fun of him for being like Beverly Hills Ninja or something like that, but knocked out that guy, and that got him the contract, I'm pretty sure. Lost to Marcus Perez in his last fight. I can check just so I make sure I'm not totally wrong here. But, whoops. Well, you see, I got to hit that first. I accidentally did the stop share. This is the fun that you get. This is the kind of fun you get with my show. Yeah, it's really fun, I know. All right. Let's see here. Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez, MMA. I just want to be totally sure here. Because Anthony, he's a really good prospect still, even though he suffered that loss. But I think this is a good fight for him. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I know who he's going against, but, trying to rebound. Okay, he didn't get knocked out, but Anaconda choke, I remember it being a crazy fight. Either way, yeah, I think that he'll come on strong here, even though he's going to be in enemy territory. So yeah, can't go against. I'm going to pick the guy that I know. Going to look so stupid on this first breakdown episode, not knowing a lot of these people. But then here's Sukum Toth taking on Su Metajeri. I've seen both of these guys before. Of course, Sukum Toth. Metajeri, he made his UFC debut in his last fight, I believe. Here, this is the wonders of Zoom podcasting, which is why I wanted to do it this way, so I could check myself. I'm going to be my own Jamie here to start things off. So what am I looking for? Metajeri. I think he's got a fun nickname, or Sulamu. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, actually. Maybe he hasn't debuted yet. Okay, he did. Lou Smolka. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. That was a fun one. That was crazy because, Smolka was making his return run and all that fun stuff. But now taking on Sukumtoth, Sukumtoth has gone through. He's kind of had an interesting career so far, especially in the UFC. You know, shown signs of questionable fight IQ. I think that's what people will think of most in regards to him, specifically for that Sean O'Malley fight. And there was another one that it was kind of suspect. Let's see, Alejandro Perez. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of, or maybe it was Morales. Maybe all of these. There have been some moments for Sukumtoth, but he's obviously got some skills, no doubt about it. Jonathan Martinez, Luke Sanders, those are solid wins. And I think that he should be able to get this one done. But you never know. Maybe there will be fight IQ issues here again. So then we move on here. I don't know these bantamweights either, unfortunately. Which as the guy who likes to think I know a good amount about the female fighters, yeah, never heard of these ones, but it's good to have more bantamweights in the UFC. Could really use them right now, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes and see how these ladies perform. Kai Kara France and Mark De La Rosa at flyweight. Okay, so for this show, when I do the fight picks, the Drake stakes for the events, we're gonna do sleeper fight of the night or sleeper fight that could most likely to be fight of the night that no one's like, the sleeper pick, yeah, and lock of the night. So who most likely to win, of course. And after looking through this card before going on air, I'm thinking that this one is definitely going to be the sleeper pick because, Kai Kara Front's always exciting. Mark De La Rosa, not boring to watch either. You put these guys together. The flyweights, these are two flyweights who are really proud to be flyweights. They really want the division to stick around, and it looks like it's going to stick around, surprisingly. But with that said, stylistically, fun fight. I would say De La Rosa probably more has a better chance if he can get this to the ground. Kai, obviously a very good striker, trains with Izzy, Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker. Was that an Australian top team? I might be blanking on the name. Forgive me if that is wrong. I could probably look at it right here, but trying to move things along. Just not trying to take a bunch of time here. Either way, definitely don't miss this one because, yeah, these are two guys who this is just styles make fights. De La Rosa, he can box too and strike and all that stuff, but I think he has his best chance on the ground. I think he can get it there. Will get it there at some points, but Kai, he's gotten good, more improved overall too since the Ultimate Fighter, specifically with takedown defense, as we saw, I think in his last fight as well. I'm going to see if this is going to screw up my stuff here. If I look at it, I know I just said I didn't want to do that, but here we are. Holy shit! I didn't realize how long his winning streak was either. Okay, Aurelian Paiva. Yes, I remember that fight. He arguably won that one. I might have actually scored that for Paiva. I think I did actually. Either way, that was a really good fight, and yeah, Kai's still no joke. So yeah, I think this is the sleeper pick for sure. I could see Mark pulling it off, but Kai's got that momentum of that fucking win streak right there. I think that was 7. If I was just here, let's be legit here. Let's not beat around the bush because the bush is right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I was just guessing, kind of spitballing it. Not spitballing it, but glancing. All right, so yeah, that's the one right there. That's the sleeper pick for UFC Shenzhen. Moving on. Damir Ismagulov versus Thiago Moises. If I was going to have 2 fights it was between for the sleeper pick, I think it would probably be these two, which is probably going to sound a little interesting because it seems like on Tapology, everybody's picking Damir Ismagulov, which I am too, as you can see, just because he's been a model of consistency, 18-1. Moises, still a very good prospect as well. But that experience is a big deal for Damir. He's very technical and like sharp. His game is very refined. I think that's a good way to put it. Moises, he's not bad either, but he still has some more growing to do. Younger as well, 24. That should be a good one. I do like that fight a lot. It's going to be interesting. But Demir, yeah, nobody's really heard of this guy, but he's really put things together quite nicely. Yeah, Alex Georges and Joel Alvarez now. I mean, just his wins they're very clean, like crisp performances, just with his striking and his grappling, everything. Very well-rounded fighter. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. Very interesting one. And unfortunately, here another one. No idea who these guys are. I can't wait to find out who all of these guys are when they compete on Sunday for me, or I think it might be Saturday. I don't know the times. I'm gonna have to figure that out. All right, but then we're moving on here to a very interesting flyweight bout: Yanan Wu versus Mizuki Inoue. Mizuki making her debut in the UFC, former Invicta FC title challenger. One-time title challenger, I believe. One of the brightest Japanese prospects over the last maybe 6 years or so. A long time. She's been in the game for almost 10 years now, which is incredible because she just turned 25. I mentioned this a bit if you follow me on Twitter, but it's a very interesting story. Shameless plug. You can look up my story I did with her back before she was supposed to be in the Phoenix Rising tournament at strawweight. And she unfortunately didn't end up fighting in the tournament, I think, because of weight issues, which would explain why this is at flyweight, which makes it pretty interesting, more interesting, I think, because Mizuki's going up. She, even though Yanan, she had a very nice win in her last fight at UFC Beijing. I believe that was the last time she fought, when she beat Lauren Mueller armbar, or it was a submission. It was an armbar. Okay. Yeah, that was a very solid performance from her. I thought Mueller was going to win that one, so that was a little bit of a shock to me. But yeah, a good Chinese prospect she is. But Mizuki from Japan, and now training with Sarah Longo, her last fight against Viviane Pereira, and in Invicta. Goodness, that for my money was the best performance of her career, and she's had plenty of really good performances. Mizuki's just fantastic. Really, her boxing is I don't want to say second to none. That's kind of silly to say, but she's got very good boxing. The Carolina Qualquix fight from back in the day, that's an Invicta classic. Or the Grasso one, that's what I'm talking about. But the Carolina one was good too. Split decision. That's impressive for that time and against Carolina. So yeah, it's crazy. It's just always crazy to me when I think of Mizuki and how she's still so young but has so much experience. It was just a matter of time before she finally made it to the UFC, and that Sarah Longo connection might have been a help. Who knows, to speed up the process, but not mad at it. This is totally fine. The flyweight thing is interesting though, because I feel like strawweight, she's looked pretty fine at like a fit for strawweight, but yeah, hey, if you're gonna go up at these days, it doesn't seem to be a bad thing at all for nearly anybody. So she should be able to make this work just fine. Even though Wu, she looked pretty big from what I last remember seeing her, like compared to in that Mueller fight. Let's see, she's 5'9". I mean, that's pretty tall for flyweights and bantamweights. Actually, I mean, I'm 5'9". Not that that's tall, but let's see, the Mizuki, how tall she's 5'4". I mean, yeah, see, like 5'4" is like about average for strawweight, I would say. But yeah, man, just Mizuki. I need some water. Sorry, guys. Here, let me get some. Mizuki, just yeah, she looked completely different going from the Verna Jandiroba title fight to that Viviane Pereira fight. And Verna, somebody who is still one of the best in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Losing to Carla Esparza in a close fight, a very, arguably one I could have seen go her way as well. Uh, no shame in that. So, um, yeah, this will be a good one. I think this is a good matchup for her stylistically. She just looked so good. Like the way that she would mix the striking with the takedowns in that Pereira fight, just setting up the takedowns with her strikes, her punches, and all that. And not something I really remember seeing from her. She likes to strike mainly, but to kind of make sure she showed off her full game in that last fight, she really mixed it up nicely. Oh God, I don't have a desk in this room, so I'm sitting on the bed, and it's making my legs fall asleep. So yeah, hopefully get that fixed up soon. But anyways, I think Mizuki should pull this off. The weight change will probably be a good thing because, hey, not cutting, not losing energy. But then, in enemy territory, so there's a lot of elements to this fight that make it more interesting than it would be if it was two fighters who normally fight at the same weight on neutral territory, all that stuff. Coming off interesting situations. So yeah, Mizuki decision. Yeah. All right, Kenan Song and Derek Krantz. This one is interesting too. I know I'm kind of spamming that word at this point, huh? Let's knock that off. I'll just keep it simple. Song Kenan Song. He's usually in pretty fun fights, but it's just like he just can't. He doesn't. It's not quite there all the time. And Krantz, he made his debut on short notice against I'm blank. It was Luque, wasn't it? Yeah, Vicente Luque, who is a goddamn beast in his own right. Made his debut against Luque on short notice. Hurt Luque pretty much instantly. This guy is, what did they call him? The regional veteran or some kind of thing like that, because he's got so many fights on the regional scene and just now made it. That's totally logical. Not logical. That's fitting. That's very fitting for Derek Krantz. And yeah, I just think that full camp, if he did no, he still lost to Luque convincingly and all that, but did pretty well for, with all things considered. So I think he should show up pretty big in this one. And yeah, he seems like one of those guys who will be just motivated by the situation going not into enemy territory in this case, because Kenan is not Chinese, I don't think. Okay, well, see, I don't know shit today. But I think that'll be much more motivating for him than Song, which I could be completely wrong. Probably will be. But either way, that's a fun one too to look forward to. I expect to finish no matter who it's for. And then Karis Ibragimov versus Daunjung. That was terrible. I don't know why I said it that way. Don't know these guys either. M1 on the gloves here for Karis Ibragimov. 8-0 Russian prospect. Well, nothing wrong with that. That'll be interesting to see. Just for that alone. That's all I'll say about that. All right, here we go. This fight was actually supposed to happen at UFC Beijing. The co-main here, Elizu Zaleski dos Santos versus Li Jingliang, the Leech. Oh, I left him out on the Chinese fighters who were like the big names. He's definitely up there. This is a very fun fight. Most likely to be fight of the night, not sleeper, just the fight of the night. With that said, though, I hate that they remade this fight because fucking Zaleski, man, he deserves top 15, top 12 guy at this point. His winning streak is just ridiculous. People thought he was going to lose to Curtis Millender in his last fight, but then just went out and won that thing easily. Look at this. He's just been on a tear and never boring. Never boring. Look at the kind of wins he has. He had a flying knee in that was a short notice fight against Vendramini, for Vendramini, but still. Sean Strickland, spinning hook kick. Nuts. Strickland is very durable. Tough guy, Lyman good. Omar Akhmadov with knees. God, he is just so fun to watch. And so is the Leech. Li Jingliang is very, very fun to watch. Puts power into every shot he throws. I mean, both guys do. Really, they're just these guys look to go to war. You don't usually see much ground game from either of them, but Zaleski, showed that he can take it there in his last one to get that submission against Melender, and that was kind of what people were, kind of questioning a bit. But yeah, that's I just I picked round one on here. I don't know if I don't know what I was thinking there. I could see this maybe going around two at least, but yeah, I think that easy DS, he just has way too many tools in that toolkit. Not to say that the Leech can't pull this off, but I just think Zaleski's kind of cruising. People still he's kind of the dark horse. Him and Luke are the dark horses in UFC welterweight division right now. It was, I think, Leon Edwards was the top guy for that spot, but he's definitely passed it up by now. So Zaleski and Luke are those guys. Yeah, maybe even Ponzinibbio, but same kind of thing. All right, and then we are at the main event. Oh boy, what a matchup! What a matchup! I know you're probably you see that Zhang submission pick. I know people think I'm biased towards Weili for some reason. I mean, I do. I like Weili a lot. I like Jessica too. I'm a big fan of both of these girls. I've spoken with both of them before. So, I have no favorite which one I lean towards more in this one. Both great people, fantastic fighters too, obviously. And whenever you see like a pick like this, Zhang submission round one, I feel like that makes people think, oh, it's just going to be easy. But no, it's interesting. I mean, I did it again. It's hard. I should say, because it's hard to imagine either of these fighters losing right now. But man, I think that the difference is going to be Weili's just she's like so driven to be successful for herself, but also her country. And the first fighter from China to ever compete for a UFC title, that's a big deal. I think she's really going to rise to the occasion. I think Andrade, she's going to be, I mean, she's always coming to kill, but, first title defense, that's a big deal as well. Yeah, this is really, I can't wait for this. There's no other way to put it. But a big thing that has kind of been an issue for Weili outside of the fight itself is in her two American fights, two fights in America. Last one against Tisha, and then her UFC debut against Danielle Taylor. Her head coach he didn't make it to those fights because of visa issues. So, and you see those were decisions, which is kind of funny because she does not have a lot of decisions. Both still very clear victories, but you see this Aguilar one, which is an absolutely incredible performance. Just nobody's ever beaten Aguilar that way until Marina Rodriguez did it after. Poor Jessica Aguilar having to go through that. But yeah, so that's going to be a key factor, I think, in this one. Weili having her head coach be in her corner and help her fight week, all that stuff, just like normal. And then as for the fight itself, though, like stylistically, Jessica Andrade, she's the tank. She's coming at you nonstop, well, except for kind of the fight against Rose in the first round. But either way, that's the general game plan. Get in your face, smother you, put the pressure on, beat the shit out of you, hooks, tank, run you over. And that's a good idea, I think, against Weili, who is a very movement-oriented fighter. She can strike from anywhere. She likes the space, but this is another thing. She's very strong, which is interesting because then Andrade is obviously the strongest fighter in the division. I think that the top three fighters, strength wise, at strawweight has to be Andrade, Zhang, and probably Tatiana Suarez. So it'll be very, very not interesting. It's going to be intriguing to see how who can kind of win that strength battle when they get in close, because I think we'll see some clinch work here. If we're going to see knees from Weili, and I think that it could be a situation for my submission pick here. I think it could be a situation where Andrade is coming in a little too over aggressive, and Weili capitalizes on her momentum and reverses it into like a takedown or something, some kind of advantageous position where she ends up locking in a submission or getting some strikes off. Maybe she even hurts her on the feet before as she's coming in, and then that leads to a submission. Either way, I feel like Wiley's gonna find the finish. I don't know, man. She might be the chosen one for for China, even though Yan Jianan's my I'm a big fan of Yan Jianan as well. But yeah, the Chinese takeover is for real. But hey, wouldn't it all be surprised if fucking Jessica Andrade defended that title successfully? It's one of these fights I hate. I do not want to see either of these girls lose. It fucking sucks, but it's going to be an amazing fight, no matter how long it lasts, unless it's like 10 seconds or some shit. But yeah, and I'll say this too: if Andrade wins, I think it'll probably be a TK. Goddamn voice. TKO in maybe round 4 or 3 late. I think that it would be kind of burning out Weili if she can avoid any bad positions, because I think that's just kind of the thing. If Andrade can utilize her game plan without making a very reckless mistake, I suppose you could say, then she should probably be fine. But yeah, so if she's going to win, I think it'll be kind of weathering fashion, where she slows Weili down as the fight goes, kind of breaks her down with just the power that she puts out. And we've never even seen Weili go 5 rounds. I don't think, anyways, because she doesn't go to decision very often, and she's only got 1 loss, which was her first fight. So yeah, many possibilities here, but I think those are the most likely 2, and I'm going to go with the first one, which is the Weili Zhang finish in the first or second round. But I think first round off of an overly aggressive Andrade in some sort of situation. Either way, cannot wait for it. It's finally happening. I mean, I shouldn't say finally. It hasn't been like brewing for a long time. But yeah, so that is UFC Shenzhen. And now it's time to make the lock of the card, which this is a very hard to do that. A very hard card to pick that for, considering everything that we've talked about already. So let's go back through it real quick. If I was gonna pick one person, yeah, it's probably Anthony Hernandez. No offense to Jungyeon Park, but like, I mean, he's got a streak going too, but yeah. I was thinking between Anthony Hernandez or Mizuki, but I'm gonna go Hernandez just because Mizuki, the flyweight thing. Who knows how that's gonna work out, if Wu's gonna be bigger no matter what. So yeah, and in hindsight now, I'm thinking that might be a little closer than I initially did, but either way, I think Mizuki's more talented, so I'm going to stick with that. But yeah, that's for the lock of UFC Shenzhen. I'm taking Anthony Hernandez. We'll see if I'm right. My picks were pretty good before I took a social media hiatus. We'll see how they do in this first time back. So that is that, everybody. UFC Shenzhen this weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. This went a little bit longer than I expected it to. I don't know how long I thought it would go for, but hey, that's how it is. Trying to keep it simple, trying to just do it how it is, like that, just like that, naturally. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you like what you see, like the stuff I put out. Voice is fucking pissing me off. Follow me here on Twitter, same thing on Instagram if you would like to. I'm not going to make you, I'm not going to beg for it, but I'm just saying, if you would like to see all the great things that I post about. So exciting. Yay. There's podcast with Ricky Simone and Jake Smith for episode 1. Catch that if you haven't. That was a very fun conversation. Yes, I'm going to tell you to do that one. And the casual quiz, which, there's that. Sergey Mitrion, that was interesting. Fuck, man, that interesting word. I gotta catch myself on that as we go on here. Either way, thank you, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace out.